everyone, welcome back to my channel, Everlynn's Books and Tea. I am so excited to introduce to you what we are doing for this video. It's something that I haven't done on my channel before, but plenty of other people have. There are many videos on this, and that is I wanted to introduce you to my 2025 reading journal, which is right here. Last year, I never got around to doing a reading journal, and I wasn't sure if I was going to get around to it this year, obviously, since we are almost a quarter of the way through the year and I'm only starting this now. But I have finally set up my journal for 2025 and I'm super excited with how it turned out, and I cannot wait to begin using it. So my plan for this is every 2 to 3 months, starting next month in April, I want to record a short video showing me updating my video so you can see how I'm doing on my yearly challenges, how my monthly reads are going, and just a little discussion on the books I've read. And I figured one of the easiest ways for me to do that is through filming me filling out this journal. But for today's video, I wanted to first introduce you to the journal and kind of show you what spreads I'm doing, what it's going to look like. So I guess that's what we should do next. So let me show you my 2025 reading journal. Alright, so this is the first reading journal video I have ever made, so bear with me as I figure out the best way to record these things. But this is going to be the quickest of the videos because I'm just going to quickly flip through the reading journal and show you what spreads we will be filling out for the remainder of the year. Alright, so this is again my reading journal. I chose this because of the cute little fox on the cover. How could you not like that? And usually red is not a color I go with, but it was the one that had the fox on it, so that is why I have a bright red journal. So all of the photos that you see in this journal are from the Eternal Tale Pages shop on Etsy. I'll put a link in the description below. But I really love these pictures, and I love kind of like the dark academia magical library theme that they brought to the journal. And I kind of made my color theme, my color scheme around these pictures. I thought they were just very pretty and also very cute, especially with this little orange cat right there. So this is obviously my 2025 reading journal. Not much else to say about that. And then the first thing that we'll be filling out in this journal are my yearly book reading goals. These are goals that you see in many people's journal. They're kind of like the more popular reading goals that people do throughout the year. So the first spread we have is my Goodreads challenge goal, which is to read 100 books this year. That is about what I read last year. So I'm pretty hopeful that I can do another 100 this year. The way we'll be filling this one out is I'm actually going to assign a color to each genre over here, and then I will color in each square that corresponding to whatever genre the book was. So that is how that is going to go. I haven't filled out this section yet because I want to wait to see how many books I am going to read so I can figure out how to make this page look pretty, maybe put a picture in there depending on how many more squares I need. So that is, going to happen the later half of the year, most likely. Next up, we just have the reading tracker. This is kind of self-explanatory. I'm just going to write down each book I read, the year it was published, and the page number, which are kind of the two big things that I like to keep track of on my yearly reading goals. Then we got the daily reading challenge. This one is where I'm just going to color in the rectangle if I read that day. It doesn't matter if I read 1 minute or if I read for 3 hours. As long as I read at least a page, then I will be filling in that rectangle. This is just a good way to see how many days I've read each month and how many days I ended up not getting around to reading. I think I usually read pretty much every day, but I know there's already been some days in the last 3 months that I just never got around to reading. So I'm excited to see how many days in the year that I actually do read. And then this is the series tracker. I've already started putting some of this series in. The first 37 rows along here will be the series that are in my series jar for my TBR game. And then I will just fill out additional squares or additional lines as I start new series this year, which I tend to start at least 1 or 2 new series each month, so this will probably get filled up pretty quickly. And then I'll just be filling in the boxes for the books I've read. So the first line will be book 1, book 2, book 3, book 4, etc. And I made a little extra page because I don't know how many series I'll be starting this year. It's a bad habit of mine to start a series and not finish it. So there's a good possibility that this whole thing could get filled out. We'll see. All right, so those are my yearly reading goals. And next up are the 2025 yearly reading challenges I'm going to do. Again, I love this page. I think it's just very cute and pretty. And I love the little constellations that are up here that kind of go along with the washi tape that I am using in this journal. All right, so first up is my 25 books in 2025. I made a video of this back in January. The way I choose my 25 books in 2025 is I base it on a challenge that was created by Delta Queen at librarything.com, where she made all these categories based on tea, and I choose 2 to 3 books for each category. So these are all the books I'm planning to read in 2025, or 25 of them. And as I read them, I'll just fill in my rating on these little stars. So for example, High Tea is the classics. We have Tea for Two, which is our romance books. The Formula for Your Cuppa, which is our science fiction books. So you can kind of see all the different categories and all the different books that I'm planning to read. I like doing it this way because it makes sure I'm reading a wide variety of genres throughout the year. And then at the end here are what each of the T categories stand for in case I were to forget. And it's just a good reference spot to look back on. So that is my 25 books in 2025. Next up, we have my alphabet challenge, which is kind of self-explanatory. I will plan on reading a book that starts off with each letter of the alphabet. How well I will do with this, I don't know. It's kind of like a secondary challenge that I fill in as I get to it. It's not necessarily one that I'm looking to fulfill each month, but it's also fun to see how many letters I can get done. So if I do read a book that starts with a certain letter, I'm going to print out the cover and paste it over the letter. And I'm thinking about doing it in black and white because the focus of this is on the title and not on the cover. So I think that's how I'm going to print out the covers in black and white. But once I have printed out a couple covers, we'll see how that looks and then go from there. So here are all our letters in the alphabet. And again, this is kind of my reference, so I can just write out the titles here as well if I want a quick little peek on how I am doing. All right, next up is my Reading the Rainbow. This is one of the spreads I'm least excited about. I think I'm going to change it up on how I'm going to do it next year, but I haven't really figured that one out yet. So my Reading the Rainbow comes from the Library Thing color category challenge, and that's why these colors are in no particular order. Each month on that challenge, a member of Library Thing is assigned that month, and they get to choose the color for that month. So this is January, February, March, April, and then it goes all the way through December. And then again, this is my little reference section that I will fill out as I read a book each month, and then I will print out the covers and paste them here. And we'll see how it looks when it's done. Again, not super excited about how this turned out, but I'm hoping that once the covers are in their little frames, that will look a little bit better. But only time will tell. We'll see how it looks when it's completed. And this red was like the bane of my existence because it has already spread over to the gold over here, and there's a little red there. Like the red just wanted to get everywhere on the page. But that is what the red wanted to do, so I had no way to stop it. So that is where we are. That is the Reading the Rainbow spread. All right, next up is the Sci-Fi and Fantasy Kit. This is again a challenge on Library Thing. I get a lot of my yearly reading challenges there because they're a lot of fun. And in this challenge, members of the community are again assigned a month, and then they get to choose the prompt for that month. So for example, the prompt in January was Cozy Fantasy. The prompt in May is Authors of the Global South. And then you just have to read one book that matches that prompt. And the plan is, once again, to print out the covers and put them in their frames as I make it through this challenge. And again, I have my little reference here so I can write in the book titles as well as I go through them. So this is always a fun challenge because it definitely gets you reading different sci-fi and fantasy books that you may not otherwise have picked up. All right, then comes our library thing bingo board. So the way I did my bingo board, I actually got the idea off of a YouTube channel named, I think it was Joshi Koren. I'll put the name up on the screen and then I'll link it in my description. But she had this cool idea to make print out the little bingo board and then underneath write the books that fit each category as you read them. And I thought that was just a really fun way to do it. So I kind of went ahead and did the same thing basically. I also added in a little section over here where I'm going to also print out the covers and fill them out. But the library thing bingo is just another challenge on library thing where users of the community sent in a bunch of prompts and then 25 of those prompts got chosen. And then you got to create your own bingo board out of it. So these are the prompts for this year. A lot of them look like they're going to be a lot of fun, such as reading a book from a place you've never been, a book that features winged creatures, and books that are newly in the public domain. So it definitely gets you reading a bunch of different genres and again, a bunch of different books that you might not otherwise have picked out. All right, next up is my Reddit Fantasy Bingo. So this is from the Reddit Fantasy, and every year starting in April, they create a new bingo board that focuses on fantasy, speculative fiction, science fiction books. And the contest runs from April to April, which is why I have 2 pages for this. This is for the 2024 to 2025 game board. And then once the 2025-2026 game board comes out, I'll put it over here. All the things that are filled out on here are from the books I read back in 2024, so you can kind of see how the game board will look as I continue to fill it out between January through April. So my plan is just to color in each spot as I meet the prompt and then write the books over here. And then I'm also going to be highlighting each square depending on if I just met the regular prompt or if I met the hard prompt for each category. So the way Reddit does it is that each category has their basic prompt, which such as published in 2024. And then under each of those categories, there's a additional prompt that if you meet it, you are considered to have completed the hard prompt for each category. So I know that's a little confusing, but it makes sense when you read it on Reddit. And then, like I said, I'll just print out each book cover and paste it over here so I can see the books that I've read for the bingo. This one, I'm probably not going to finish this year. I actually didn't really start it until like November, December because I didn't know about it. But I'm excited to see how well I do now that I know it's there and that I will be able to start it in the beginning in April. And then this is another spread that I'm not super excited with how it turned out because it looks a little bit plain, but this is just the 52 books in 52 weeks, which is a website, a reading challenge that gives you 52 prompts to fulfill through the year. So my plan is just to write all the books down here and then print out and paste the covers there. So nothing too exciting. Our last yearly spread is the magical Readathon spread for their yearly challenge that comes from the YouTube channel Book Roast, and that has been around for many, many years and is a very popular reading challenge that most people have heard of. And that is the Adventures of Eldia Readathon. So the creator of this made this beautiful map that you get to kind of choose your own adventure by getting to choose which direction you want to go to eventually get to the end of the board. And you'll end up either in one of these 4 spots, depending on which directions you go. And for each month, depending on which way you go, you're going to get a prompt that you have to fulfill to continue on the following month. So here is where we will be putting the prompt that we got and then the book that fits that prompt. And then I'll be printing out the covers again and pasting them here. This is a like I said, a year-long reading challenge that also has 2 monthly readathons. The next one's in April, and I'm super excited to get to participate in this year because I didn't get around to it last year. And I am excited to see how well I can do in reading all the prompts, both for this yearly challenge as well as the monthly challenges. We'll see how it goes. And those are my yearly spreads for the reading journal. Starting next month, I will start filling out these yearly spreads as well as creating the monthly ones so I can update everyone on the books I've read, how my yearly challenges are going, and what I thought about all the different books that I've read since I haven't really done that in the past. I felt like this was a good way to kind of do it. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully this will work out well. And yeah, I think that's all I have for this video. So coming out after this video will be my reading challenge for this month, which I am super excited about. And I'm actually going to record the first roll today. Hopefully, I'm hoping to finish that challenge in this week and get that video out by this weekend. Today is like the 18th of March. And I can't wait to see all the different books that this monthly reading game is going to give me because there could be a very wide variety of books that I'll be reading. All right, thank you again for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this little trip through my reading journal. I am so excited with how this turned out. And like I said, I cannot wait to start filling this out and see what it looks like with the book covers and everything thrown into their appropriate spots. So I will see you guys soon. I hope your March reading is going well, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care. Bye.